Stop chasing money. Write it down. Tweet that to somebody right now. Money hates being chased. Money is like a stray cat. If you run after it, it runs faster. If you put out milk consistently, it returns with friends. Money does not respond to need. Money responds to value. And value is not emotion. Value is solution. This is not my opinion. This is a law. And you can ignore a principle, but you can never disagree with it. Jump off a 10-story building with a PhD in economics and see if gravity debates you. Principles don't argue. They enforce. The scripture already framed this. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Matthew 6:33. Added, write that down. Things are supposed to look for you. Provision is the follower, purpose is the leader. Purpose commands provision. You can never disagree with the principle. Prayer without principle compliance becomes religious noise. Fasting cannot bribe laws. If you are chasing money, you have misread the order. You are running after the servant and abandoning the assignment. Let me make it plain. Money is a well-trained dog. It obeys the whistle of value. Value is the sound of a problem solved reliably, repeatedly, and righteously. When value shows up, money sits, stays, and rolls over. When neediness shows up, money runs. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Proverbs 18:16. The gift is the engine. The money is the endorsement. Write this down. Money is a receipt for value delivered. Tweet that. Money is not the product. It is the proof of service. Honesty is my only policy. Many of you have been trained to rent time instead of deploy purpose. You have been taught to chase salaries like pigeons in a park. And the more frantic you get, the more your energy smells like fear. Neediness has an odor. Markets can smell it. Clients can smell it. Investors can smell it. Money can smell it. The poor shout, I need. The wise whisper, I solve. Say it with me, even in your mind. I solve. That sound attracts resources. Let me give you a story. There was a young man, fictional but familiar, named Darius. Darius chased money so hard he wore out 3 pairs of shoes and 5 friendships in 1 year. Every room he entered, his need arrived before his gift. He begged investors to believe in him while changing business ideas every week. Money ran. One day a mentor asked Darius, what pain do you heal that keeps coming back to your door? He realized that all his friends called him to fix messy spreadsheets and broken workflows. He never charged for it. He thought it was ordinary. He stopped pitching a dozen half-baked hustles and built a simple system to clean data and processes for small firms. He priced it fairly, delivered it on time, and guaranteed discretion. 2 months later, money started calling him. He wasn't chasing, he was serving. Did the economy change? No. Darius changed alignment. You can never disagree with the principle. God is a God of order. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, it is he who gives you power to get wealth, not panic to get wealth. Power means capacity aligned with purpose. Wealth is an effect. Purpose is the cause. Write it down. Effects obey causes. Provision follows purpose, not personalities and not pressure. Your charisma may get you attention for a season. Your character and your contribution will keep provision faithful. And hear me, if provision arrives before purpose, it becomes poison. That is why some people win a lottery and lose their soul. They pursued money without preparing the container. The law still stands. Image before dominion. We will come to that. But for now, know this, resources were designed to be governed by vision and values, not by need and noise. The marketplace is not mysterious. It is lawful. Seeds do not respond to tears. They respond to soil. Bees do not come to the cry of flowers. They come to nectar. Customers are not guilt offerings. They are honorers of value. So stop treating the world like a charity when you are supposed to be a solution. Stop using pity as a strategy. You cannot invoice sympathy. You can invoice service. Here is the pipeline. Write it down and tweet that to 3 people right now. Purpose to value to provision. Not lottery, not luck. Pipeline. Purpose defines the problem you are on the earth to solve. Value is the expression of that purpose in products, services, and solutions that work consistently. Provision is the resources that arrive to fuel more of it. When you invert the order of provision to purpose, you become a slave to money. And money is a brutal master, but as a servant, money is faithful. The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it, Proverbs 10:22. Sorrow enters when money is your shepherd. Goodness and mercy follow when purpose leads. Let me confront you gently but firmly. Some of you are praying for rent while neglecting the seed in your hand. God asked Moses, what is that in your hand? Not what is in Pharaoh's pocket. What do you carry? What problem bows when you arrive? If you cannot answer, your chase is blind. This series will take you from blind pursuit to precise deployment. But today, I need you to repent from money chasing. Repentance means change of mind, not just tears. Decide to align with law. Decide to be a magnet, not a beggar. Decide to press a nectar, not noise. You can ignore a principle, but you can never disagree with it. Say it until it arrests your behavior. The law I am giving you will not bend for your culture, your emergencies, or your excuses. Gravity does not care who you are. Neither do economic laws. Sow value, reap revenue. Sow trust, reap transactions. Sow systems, reap scale. We will build the systems and the stewardship later, but the foundation is fixed. Stop the chase. I will leave you with a diagnostic. When you enter a room this week, ask, did my need enter first or did my gift? If your need enters first, you will start negotiating your standards. If your gift enters first, your standards become your brand. And provision respects brands built on service and integrity. Second diagnostic. If I had the money today, would my purpose know what to do with it tomorrow? If the answer is no, you are not waiting on money. Money is waiting on you to mature your value. God is able to make all grace abound toward you, that you, always having all sufficiency in all things, may abound to every good work. 2 Corinthians 9-8. Notice the order. Abundance serves good work. Good work does not chase abundance. It commands it. Write it down. Tweet that to somebody right now. Do not insult heaven by asking for provision to fund confusion. Bring purpose. Bring value. Bring a plan. Then resources will not just follow you, they will find you, locate you, and pursue you because money recognizes its master. Lead with your life. Lead with your gift. And the servant called money will report for duty. Now, let me touch your identity, because until your identity shifts, your activity will stay the same. Write this down. A job is what you are paid to do. Work is what you were born to do. Tweet that to somebody right now. You can be fired from your job, but you can never be fired from your work. You can retire from a job, but you must never retire from your work. Employment is renting your time. Deployment is releasing your gift. And heaven funds deployment, not mere employment. You can never disagree with the principle. Genesis 2:15 says, then the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to tend and keep it. Before there was a paycheck, there was purpose. Before there was a company, there was a calling. God gave Adam work before he gave him a wife, before he gave him a title, before he gave him a salary. Work is not a job. Work is an assignment. Jesus said, my food is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work. John 4:34. Food, write it down. He called work his nutrition. That means your true work feeds your soul while it serves your world. If what you are doing drains your soul and only fills your wallet, that is a job, not your work. What is your gift? Your gift is the natural, native, God-deposited capacity that solves a particular kind of problem with unusual ease and consistent excellence. Proverbs 18:16 says, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Not a resume, not flattery, not hustle. The gift is the engine. The money is the endorsement. Your gift is the seed. Your work is the field. Your job, listen carefully, is simply the temporary fence protecting the field while the seed germinates. Don't confuse the fence for the harvest. Honesty is my only policy. Culture trains you for employment. Destiny demands deployment. Our systems license you to perform tasks, not to fulfill purpose. Schools can hand you degrees in disciplines you secretly despise and then congratulate you for getting hired to betray your own design. Write this down. A diploma is not destiny. You can be educated and misaligned. You can be promoted and miserable. You can be applauded and still absent from your assignment. The goal of life is not promotion in a company, it is progression in your calling. Tweet that. Let me give you a model heaven uses, that the marketplace understands the tree. Trees do not chase people, they produce fruit. People find trees. People plan vacations around mango season. Nobody begs a bee to come. Nectar calls it. Fruit is value that advertises itself. Your gift is your fruit. Your work is your orchard. And provision is the traffic to your tree. Write it down. Trees do two things consistently. They stand in their place and they bear in their season. They don't relocate every weekend out of insecurity. They root, then they fruit. The consistency of bearing is what attracts predictable traffic. If you keep changing industries every month out of panic, you are uprooting your tree. No roots, no fruit. No fruit, no traffic. No traffic, no transactions. Let me make it personal. If all salaries vanished tomorrow, what would you still do with joy and excellence? That question reveals your work. If no boss told you what to do, what problem would you wake up to solve because it bothers you to see it unsolved? That is your gift pointing to your work. What do people keep thanking you for without an invoice? What do you deliver better tired than others deliver rested? What do you fix that others fear? What do you criticize most passionately because you secretly know how to do it correctly? These questions are not cute, they are diagnostic. Write them down and answer them this week and be honest. Are you performing competence or releasing calling? Let me tell you about Elena, fictional, but she's sitting in this room with another name. Elena worked 10 years as an insurance clerk. She was precise, punctual, proficient, and perpetually numb. Every lunch break, she sketched processes on napkins, finding waste in workflows that even her managers couldn't see. She thought it was a quirk. One day, after yet another request to stay late and fix the system, she realized the pattern. The problem that kept finding her was chaos. The relief she kept delivering was clarity. That's her gift. She didn't quit recklessly. She reframed immediately. She treated her job as an investor and her evenings as an incubator. In 6 months, she documented a methodology. In 9, she tested it with 2 small clinics. In 12, she replaced her salary by serving the same system from the outside with her gift. Did the economy change? No. Elena stopped renting time and started deploying purpose. You can never disagree with the principle. Hear me with both ears. I am not telling you to despise your job. I am telling you to dethrone it. Do your job with integrity. Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord. But do not let your job rename you. Let your job finance your work while you mature your gift. Many of you have been asking God for more money, and He has been asking you for more mastery of your gift. Many beg for a raise while neglecting the orchard. Stop using overtime to anesthetize your sense of assignment. Use overtime in your off hours to cultivate your oneness. Lock a season. Schedule your soul. Give your gift hours on your calendar like you give your boss hours on your contract. Write it down. If you don't schedule your work, your job will steal it. Employment is not evil. It is insufficient. It is a channel, not a source. The source is the one who embedded the gift and ordained the work. Ephesians 2:10 declares, for we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. Walk present tense, prepared beforehand past tense. Your work is older than your workplace. This is why layoffs shake the unemployed but cannot silence the deployed. When your job closes a door, your work opens another. When your employer says, we don't need you, the earth still groans for your gift. Write it down. Let me confront your fear gently but firmly. Many of you hide in jobs because your gift would expose you to accountability. You cannot be casually excellent. You cannot be anonymously significant. Work demands you show up. That is why Jesus hid nothing. He said, I must work the works of Him who sent me while it is day. John 9:4. Daylight is exposure. Are you willing to be seen doing what you were born to do? Or are you committed to a paycheck that leases your name while your purpose sits unemployed? There is no such thing as a private life. The fruit of your gift must be public. Lead with your life. Here is your self-audit for this week. Number 1, write a list of the last 10 unsolicited thank you messages you received. What were they for? That is fruit. Number 2, list the 5 activities that make you forget to check your phone. That is flow. Number 3, ask 3 honest friends, what do I do better than most with the least stress? That is grace. Triangulate those. Where they overlap, that is the corridor of your work. Number 4, if you were forbidden to collect a salary for 12 months, what would you still organize, teach, fix, build, or compose? That is love. And love, when disciplined into service, becomes value. And value summons provision. Let me settle this with a law and a warning. Law. Provision recognizes the sound of your work expressed through your gift. It ignores the noise of your panic expressed through your job title. Warning. If you keep selling your hours without seeding your orchard, a decade will pass and you will call it faithfulness, but it will be fear. Vision without values is destiny without discipline. So choose today. Identify the problem you were born to solve. Decide to root. Decide to bear. Decide to deploy. And when your gift is in motion, your work is in progress, and your character is intact, the servant called money will find the tree, stand under its shade, and pay to carry the fruit to nations. Write it down. Tweet it. Then go and begin it. Because your generation is not waiting on your job. They are starving for your work. Now, let me frame this as law, not suggestion. Write it down. Money is a servant. Purpose is the master. Tweet that to somebody right now. You were never designed to be employed by money. Money was designed to be deployed by purpose. This is not motivation. This is mechanics. Effects chase causes. Stop courting the effect and marry the cause. You can ignore a principle, but you can never disagree with it. Gravity does not negotiate with sincerity. If you jump, you fall. In the same way, if you pursue money while neglecting purpose, you will fall into scarcity with predictability. Principles are impartial. They don't care how anointed you feel, how desperate you are, or how many hashtags you post. They enforce. What is purpose? Purpose is the original intent of the Creator for a thing. Purpose is cause. Purpose is the reason a product exists, the why behind the what. Proverbs 19:21 declares, many are the plans in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the Lord's counsel that will stand. Counsel, there is purpose, what God designed. When purpose stands, provision bows. When cause stands, effect arrives by law. This is why Jesus said, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Matthew 6:33. Added is the grammar of effect. Seek is the grammar of cause. Write it down. If you handle the first, the second cannot refuse you. Let me prove the impartiality of law so it arrests your excuses. Imagine a wealthy philanthropist and a poor student step off the same balcony at the same time. Does gravity spare the generous? No. Principles have no favorites. They only have functions. In economics of purpose, the law is the same. If you neglect cause, effect abandons you. If you align with cause, effect pursues you. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, it is he who gives you power to get wealth. Power means capacity aligned with design. Wealth is the effect. If you try to get the effect without the capacity in order, you will either break the container or waste the content. Honesty is my only policy. Value is the magnet. Neediness is the repellent. Write it down. Value is purpose translated into consistent, reliable relief for real pain. Neediness is panic translated into pressure for other people to sponsor your confusion. Mark it, smell it. Friends, smell it. Heaven sees it. When you radiate need, you push resources away because you announce, I have no cause to contain you. When you radiate value, you pull resources toward you because you declare, I have an assignment ready to govern you. The magnet does not scream. It simply is. Be. Become the kind of person whose work is so aligned with purpose that provision cannot pretend you don't exist. Not your charisma, your charactered value draws resources. Tweet that. The world is intoxicated with performance, but provision is sober. It is not your glitter, it is your governance. Not your fashion, your function. Not your hype, your help. Jesus said, by their fruits you shall know them. Matthew 7:20. Fruit is proof of cause. Fruit is the evidence of a tree's internal law working. So ask yourself, do I have fruit or do I have followers? Do I have substance or do I have sound? Are people clapping because I impressed them or returning because I relieved them? People may clap for charisma. Money only comes back for character value. Write it down. Trust is the currency before the currency. Let me make it plain with a fiction that is true in every city. Two bakers open on the same street. Baker A is charming, funny, and posts viral videos daily. He winks at customers and changes his prices every hour. Sometimes the bread is warm. Sometimes it's raw. Sometimes it's yesterday's loaf in a new bag. Baker B is quieter. She opens at 6 a.m. sharp. Same recipe, same weight, same integrity. If she runs out, she posts a sign and refuses to dilute her standard. Which one will provision pursue? The one whose cause is consistent. Cash flow follows cause flow. Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Order is the highway effects travel on. Disorder is the detour they avoid. Here is a sober warning tucked inside the hope. If effect arrives without cause, it becomes a curse. The prodigal son demanded resources without the maturity of assignment and wasted his possessions with prodigal living. Luke 15:13. He got the effect, but he had no internal government to steward it. So the effect exposed his emptiness. This is why I keep saying image before dominion. God gives character before power, purpose before provision. Power will kill you without character. Money will magnify your confusion without mission. Do not insult heaven by begging for addition while refusing to order your priority. Galatians 6-7 anchors this beyond debate. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. Sow cause, reap effect. Sow purpose, reap provision. Sow value, reap revenue. You can never disagree with the principle. If you plant tomatoes, you don't fast for oranges. If you plant panic, you will harvest predators, people, and deals that devour you because your field smells like fear. But if you sow disciplined service wrapped in integrity, you will harvest clients, partners, and patrons who trust you because your field smells like order. So what must you do today? Resolve the order. Write this down as a vow and say it aloud. I will stop courting the effect. I will marry the cause. I will pursue purpose with discipline until value becomes visible. I will protect my value with integrity so trust has a place to live. I will let money do what it was made to do, serve the mission God gave me. Push this further into your calendar. Schedule cause before cash, quality before quantity, governance before growth. Tweet that to 3 people you love. I leave you with the King's guarantee. As the rain comes down and waters the earth, so shall my word be. It shall not return to me void. Isaiah 55:10-11. Rain is cause, growth is effect. Word is cause, fulfillment is effect. When your life aligns with the word of your design, your days will align with provision by law. Stop chasing, start aligning. Money is already searching for the address of purpose. Give it a name. Give it a schedule. Give it integrity. And watch the servant report for duty. Pipeline stage 1 is where many of you have been lost for years. Not because you don't have a gift, but because you've been ignoring the pain that proves it. Write this down. Your gift is located at the intersection of what you do effortlessly and what makes other people breathe easier. Tweet that to somebody right now. Not what impresses them, what relieves them. Not what flatters you, what frees them. 1 Peter 4:10 says, as each one has received a gift, minister it to one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. Minister to serve. Gifts are not decorations. They are deployments. Gifts are not about your ego. They are about someone else's oxygen. So here is the anchoring question that will govern this stage. Who breathes easier because you showed up today? Let's diagnose it with integrity. Honesty is my only policy. Many of you are multitasking your significance away. You're dabbling in 10 talents and mastering none. Write it down. A scattered gift is an unemployed gift. Proverbs 20:5 declares, counsel in the heart of man is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. Draw it out how? Start with inventory, not imagination. Review the last 90 days of your life. What did people interrupt you to ask for help with? What do you fix? So naturally, you are tempted to call it nothing. What subjects make you impatient because their solutions are obvious to you but mysterious to others? What have you been thanked for repeatedly without sending an invoice? Circle those. That overlap is the scent of your gift. Now aim that gift at real pain, in real people, with real urgency. Write this down. Purpose starts where your gift meets a real problem and produces reliable relief. Tweet it. Don't build a product, relieve a pressure. Don't chase a niche. Choose a neighbor in need. Jesus announced his assignment in the language of pain. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He has anointed me to preach good news to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives. Luke 4:18. He didn't announce a brand. He announced relief. That's the template. Your anointing always has an address, a pain profile. Is it confused systems? Is it disorganized spaces? Is it anxious teams? Is it broken numbers, broken narratives, broken knees? Find the pain you heal and name it accurately. Write this down. Vague gifts cannot invoice specific pains. Let me make it plain with a story from a woman who lives on your block with another name. Kemi is a nurse, fictional but familiar. She kept noticing the same scene. Elderly neighbors were missing medications, ending up in the ER for preventable crises. She didn't start a podcast. She didn't buy a logo. She walked across the hall with a 3-color calendar and built a Monday box, simple pill sorting, and a check-in routine. She did it for 1 neighbor, then 2, then 6. She kept a notebook. What times worked? What reminders failed? Which family members responded? Which pharmacies complicated? She collected testimonies, real sentences. Before Kemi, Dad missed 3 doses a week. After Kemi, 0 misses in 8 weeks. Because Kemi, we sleep. That is oxygen. Who breathed easier? The neighbor and the daughter. Kemi refined until relief was reliable. Within 3 months, she shaped a microservice with proof, not promises. Did money chase her? It had no choice. Provision follows predictable relief. This is the law. Prove usefulness small and often. Write it down. Tweet that. Don't scare relief you haven't stabilized. He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. Least first. Design a 30-day pilot, not a 5-year plan. Serve 10 people before you build for 10,000. Keep the circle tight and the standard high. Ask for feedback with courage. Don't defend. Document. 3 questions after every service. What changed in your world? What was confusing? What would make this twice as helpful? Those answers are chisels shaping your gift into trustworthy value. Collect testimonies. They are receipts of relief. And write this sentence on your wall. I do not sell effort. I deliver outcomes. Markets pay for outcomes. Heaven honors stewardship. Map your gift to urgency. Pain without urgency is a preference. Pain with urgency pays attention. Don't offer gourmet solutions to non-urgent appetites. If your gift is clarity, find people drowning in confusion, not people who think confusion is cute. If your gift is mercy, aim for the actually bleeding, not the bored. Isaiah 61 lists named crises, broken hearts, mourning, ashes, then names, exchanges beauty for ashes, oil for mourning, garment for heaviness. That's a value map. So build your own exchange table. Before you arrive, what is broken? After you serve, what is restored? Before chaos, after clarity, before pain, after plan, before shame, after strategy. Put it in words so clear your grandmother understands and your neighbor repeats it. Let me confront a quiet deception. Some of you are confusing hobby with help. Hobbies bless you. Gifts bless others. Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, let us use them. Romans 12:6. Use them toward whom? Toward the ones gasping. Write it down. If no one's breathing changes, you didn't use your gift. You entertained yourself. Sober but hopeful. Because once you target breath, you target demand. And when you meet demand with integrity consistently, money finds the door by law. Capture the field notes. Do not trust your memory. It flatters you. Journals don't lie. Create a simple ledger. Name, pain, intervention, result, quote, that's it. After 10 entries, you will see patterns, what you solve fastest, where you stumble, who benefits most. Kill assumptions you secretly prefer if the data says the opposite. Character is self-imposed discipline. Impose discipline on your discovery. Don't be the person who says, I help everybody with everything. That is code for I help nobody with nothing. Tweet that. Here is your weekly drill to make this concrete. For the next 7 days, choose a corridor of pain you can touch without permission, because greatness begins with service, not with marketing. Offer 1 hour daily to a specific profile. If your gift is process clarity, help 5 solo entrepreneurs clean a workflow. If your gift is calming anxious children, offer structured play for stressed single parents in your complex. If your gift is storytelling, rewrite one company's confusing about page into plain speech. Do not ask for money, ask for evidence. Ask them to measure breath. On a scale of 1 to 10, how heavy was it before, after? Document the change. If relief is inconsistent, refine. If relief is consistent, prepare a simple offer. The offer is not a price, it is a promise of relief on repeat. Guard your motives as you serve. This is discovery, not display. There is no such thing as a private life. Your fruit will be public, but your heart must be pure. Resist exaggeration. Resist the itch to brand what you have not borne. Don't print t-shirts for a service that can't yet keep its own word. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. Matthew 5:37. Integrity in discovery becomes authority in delivery. If you lie in the small, you will steal trust in the large. And trust is the currency before the currency. Finally, return to the anchor question every evening this week before you sleep. Who breathes easier because I showed up today? Say their name. Write their sentence. If you can't name one, don't condemn yourself. Correct yourself. Tomorrow, aim your gift at a named pain. And don't stop until oxygen appears. That is the birthplace of provision. Because when your gift consistently becomes someone else's breath, heaven and the marketplace agree you are necessary. And when you are necessary, resources will not merely follow you, they will find you, locate you, and pursue you, because value tested and truthful is irresistible. Write it down. Tweet that to 3 people you love. Then go and serve, small, daily, and dependable, until relief becomes your reputation. Now that you have located the pain you heal, listen carefully. Talent is a promise. Mastery is a contract. Write it down. Tweet that. Promise excites people once. Contract keeps them coming back for life. Mastery converts raw talent into dependable value that money can trust. You can never disagree with the principle. Character is self-imposed discipline. Therefore, mastery is character expressing itself through regimen. Not your charisma, your regimen. Not your inspiration, your instruction. Do you see a man skillful in his work? He will stand before kings. Proverbs 22:29. Kings represent demand at the highest level. Skill, not selfies, earns the audience of kings. What is mastery? Mastery is the decision to make your gift submit to a schedule until its excellence becomes boring. Did you hear me? Excellence so consistent it looks ordinary because it is your normal. Write this down. Excellence is the standard, not the event. Events are occasional. Standards are daily. Daniel distinguished himself because an excellent spirit was in him. Daniel 6:3. In him, internal, not occasional. Not conference energy, not weekend adrenaline. In him. That means whether it is Monday or midnight, whether paid or not, whether watched or alone, standard. Repetition builds reputation. Tweet that. Nobody trusts your first performance. They trust your pattern. I tell leaders all over the world, people don't pay for attempts. They pay for predictability. Would you board an airplane if the pilot said, I will attempt to land this? Would you submit to a surgeon who says, we'll see how it goes today? No. Predictability is the fruit of practice under pressure. Paul said, everyone who competes for the prize is temperate in all things. 1 Corinthians 9:25. Temperate means controlled, disciplined, measured. Desire without discipline is delusion. Honesty is my only policy. So let's make this practical. Design daily mastery blocks. Not someday. Not when you feel like it. Schedule them like rent, non-negotiable. 2 Timothy 2:15 says, be diligent to present yourself approved to God, a worker who does not need to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Diligence is calendarized conviction. Set a minimum of 190-minute deep work block daily for your core gift. No notifications, no multitasking, one corridor of pain, one tool, one metric. Then measure outputs, not hours. Hours flatter you. Outputs don't lie. Write it down. Measure product, not presence. What does output look like? If your gift is clarity in processes, your output is number of workflows simplified and error rate reduced. If your gift is storytelling, your output is 3 pages of publishable copy or 1 narrative restructured with a before and after comprehension test. If your gift is calming anxious children, your output is a measured drop in incidents per session and a reproducible routine that others can follow. If your gift is design, your output is 2 final tested iterations that meet written criteria, not 10 drafts you sort of like. Create a visible scoreboard, baseline, target, actual. Review weekly. Tweet that to somebody right now. Scoreboards save destinies. Let me give you a living parable, fictional. But she is in this room with another name. Ava is a junior architect with a gift for space flow. Raw talent made her presentations dazzling, but construction crews were cursing her drawings, unclear notes, inconsistent dimensions. She made a covenant with mastery. Every morning, 7:30, mastery block, red line 1 set of drawings from an award-winning firm, rewrite notes until a high schooler could build it, do a friction audit. How many RFIs did her last project generate? Baseline, 29, target, 10. She built checklists, learned from a crusty site supervisor, memorized building code segments. 4 months later, RFIs dropped to 8. Her reputation changed from creative to clear. Provision followed clarity, because foremen started asking for her by name. Money did what money always does. It traveled the road of least resistance to reliable value. Hear the warning. Mastery exposes your laziness and your lies. Many of you are addicted to the applause of beginnings because you fear the accountability of consistency. You launch well, you linger poorly. You post about it, you don't practice it. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with your might. Ecclesiastes 9:10. With your might, the whole of you, not the mood of you. Stop confusing fatigue with faithfulness. Some of you are tired from distractions, not from discipline. There is no such thing as a private life. Your private practice announces itself in your public performance. Lead with your life. Apprenticeship is the ancient path to accelerated mastery. Find someone whose results you respect and submit your gift to their standards. Write this down. Imitation before innovation. Tweet that. You are not less original because you learn from a model. You are more trustworthy because you build on proven patterns. Jesus spent 30 years preparing for 3 years of public work. 30 to 3. Preparation is never wasted time. Apprenticeship demands humility. Carry bags, ask better questions, accept correction without excuse. Proverbs 12:1 is blunt. Whoever loves instruction loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid. The Bible said that. Not me. Now, architecture regimen. Build 3 pillars. Practice, proof, and protocols. Practice is your daily block where you sharpen the core motion of your gift. Proof is your record samples case studies, before, after artifacts. Protocols are your checklists and standards. So quality is not a guess, it is guaranteed. Write it down. Systems are love made visible to the people you serve. They protect them from your bad days. When you are sick, the checklist still works. When you are busy, the protocol still guards quality. That's integrity in motion. Isaiah 28:10 describes learning as precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. That's mastery. Stop selling beyond your skill. If your relief is not yet predictable, do pilots, not promises. Offer beta engagements with clear boundaries and feedback loops. Be transparent about scope. Under-promise, over-deliver. Protect your name like a vault. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Proverbs 22:1. Your name is the currency before the currency. I have turned down invitations and checks because my protocols were not ready to guarantee the outcome. Why? Because trust, once broken, is expensive to buy back. Power will kill you without character. Opportunity will expose you without mastery. Write this as a vow. Excellence is my normal. I do not sell attempts. I deliver outcomes. I measure outputs, not hours. I submit my gift to regimen until my results are repeatable. Tweet that to somebody you love. Then put it on paper. Monday to Friday, 1 mastery block minimum. Same time, same place. Choose a single metric for the month. Log it daily. Weekly review with an honest friend who is not impressed by you. Ask them 3 questions. Where did I cut corners? Where did I get consistent? What small change would make a big difference? Character is self-imposed discipline. Let someone you trust hold the ruler while you stand under it. Finally, remember why this matters. Mastery is not perfectionism. Mastery is predictability in service of people's breath. Bezalel was filled with the Spirit of God, in wisdom, in understanding, in knowledge, and in all manner of workmanship to build the tabernacle with precision. Exodus 31:3-5. Spirit and skill together. Image before dominion. Character before power. Practice before platform. When your gift is trained, your patterns are proven, and your protocols protect the promise. Provision will do what it is programmed to do. Find the path of integrity and follow it to your door. Write it down. Then go and practice until your excellence gets boring, because boring excellence is what kings call trust. Now hear me. Mastery makes you reliable. Differentiation makes you rare. Write it down. Excellence earns trust. Difference earns a premium. This is the courage to be one. Integrity means oneness. Same person everywhere, every time. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6:4. Holy means whole, one, integrated, not scattered, not split. Not a different you for each room you enter. When you fracture your identity, you dilute your value. When you are one, you concentrate your power. You can never disagree with the principle. Your distinct oneness is not a costume. It is a lane. Positioning is integrity applied to your assignment. Write it down. Niche creates need. If you refuse to choose, the market refuses to notice. 1 Corinthians 12 says, we are one body with many members, hand, eye, foot, each with a lane. The eye does not apologize for not hearing. The hand does not pretend to be a foot. That is not arrogance. That is assignment. Your gift must stop auditioning for roles it was not designed to play. Tweet that to somebody right now. Stack your gift mix into a lane only you can own. How? By disciplined combination, not confusion. Take the core gift you have identified, add the specific pain you reliably relieve, overlay your unique method, and bind it with your values. That stack is your difference. Same flour, but a distinct recipe. Proverbs 18:16 says, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. The room is a lane, not a hallway of everything. Write this down. Room increases when focus intensifies. Let me make it plain with a fiction that is true. Next door. Marcus is a teacher with a gift for turning complexity into clarity. After mastery, he had predictable outcomes. Students improved reading comprehension by 2 grade levels in 12 weeks. Differentiation required courage. He stopped trying to tutor everything. He stacked Gift, clarity. Pain, overwhelmed, ninth graders transitioning to high school. Method, story-structured note-taking, plus 2 0-minute metacognition drills. Values, no shame. Measurable, micro-wins. Channel after-school micro-labs for public schools with teacher handoff protocols. That stack produced a lane with a name. Ninth grade clarity labs. Provision paid attention. Why? Because difference creates direction for resources. Principals could find him. Parents could understand him. Donors could fund him. Same talent, new premium, because he was one. Now, here is the courage part. You must say no to good opportunities to preserve great distinction. Nehemiah said, I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. Nehemiah 6:3. Jesus modeled this discipline. When they tried to crown him after multiplying bread, he departed again to the mountain by himself alone. John 6:15. And when the crowd demanded more miracles in Capernaum, he said, let us go into the next towns. For this purpose I have come forth. Mark 1:38. Write it down. Purpose is permission to say no. If your yes has no spine, your value has no shape. This is a sober warning. Sameness is discounted by markets. When you sound like everyone, you are treated like anyone. Price follows difference. Say it out loud. Write it down. Similarity is cheap. Difference is expensive. Don't sell hours in a crowded aisle. Sell outcomes in your carved lane. Luke 10:7 reminds us the laborer is worthy of his wages. Worthy implies weight. Weight comes from distinction. If your work is indistinguishable, your wage will be negotiable down to the floor. If your work is undeniably you, you anchor your price in a promise only you can keep. Honesty is my only policy. Be careful. Difference is not weirdness. Difference is faithful oneness. Some people confuse eccentricity for distinction. No, distinction is usefulness wrapped in identity. It is values to ethics, consistency on display. Your method must be consistent across settings. There is no such thing as a private life. Your private oneness announces itself in public clarity. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. Matthew 5:37. If you tailor your ethics to the audience, you have no lane, only costume changes. Character is self-imposed discipline. Impose discipline on your brand. Let me give you a practical frame. Craft a different statement that a child can repeat. I help specific people relieve named pain by unique method with non-negotiable values, resulting in measurable outcome. That sentence is a plumb line. Hang every opportunity on it. If it doesn't align, it is a distraction dressed as destiny. Next, design a not-to-do list to protect your lane. What subjects will you not touch? Which clients will you not take? What deliverables will you refuse to promise? Tweet this: your greatness grows by subtraction, not addition. Then set no protocols, pre-written sentences for declining good requests without guilt. Thank you for thinking of me. This is outside my lane, and to serve you with integrity, I must decline. Put it on your phone. Use it. Philippians 3:13 says, this one thing I do, not 15 things I dabble in, one thing. Focus is warfare. Your enemy is dilution. Markets reward concentration. Let me test you. If I called 5 of your clients and asked, what is the one thing you do differently that nobody else does? Would their answers rhyme? If they wouldn't, you don't have a lane. You have a leak. Patch it with honest patterns. Audit your touch points, website, proposals, presentations, testimonies. Do they tell one story or 20 slogans? Isaiah 60:3 declares, Gentiles shall come to your light and kings to the brightness of your rising. Light is clarity. Brightness is focused intensity. Kings do not chase fog. They follow beacons. Economically, difference compounds reputation. The more unique your relief becomes, the more your name substitutes for a category. Kleenex is not just tissue. It is tissue in people's minds. I am not asking you to become a corporation. I am commanding you to become coherent. Become so one that your signature is a standard. That's when referrals arrive pre-sold, price resistance decreases, and timing favors you. Why? Because resources flow along carved channels. Systems, which we will build next, need banks like a river. Difference cuts the bank. Provision brings the water. Now, write this vow and seal it with practice. I will be one. I will stack my gift into a lane only I can own. I will protect that lane with principled no's. I will price outcomes, not hours. I will make my method visible, my values non-negotiable, and my fruit consistent. I will refuse the costume of sameness and embrace the courage of oneness. Tweet that to 3 people who keep diluting your destiny. When you choose oneness, heaven recognizes you. When you choose a lane, the earth can find you. And when you consistently deliver distinctive relief, provision will not just follow, it will locate, identify, and pursue you. Because value that is one becomes value that is rare. And rare things are hunted by kings. Write it down. Then go and cut the lane that bears your name. Now that you have cut your lane, listen to me, like your future depends on it, because it does. Difference draws attention. Integrity determines retention. Write it down. Integrity is the vault that holds wealth. Integrity safeguards value, so provision can trust you with more without destroying you. You can never disagree with the principle. If your vault is cracked, more money does not bless you. It accelerates your collapse. Power will not corrupt you. Power will expose you. Money will not change you. Money will reveal you. Access will not mature you. Access will magnify you. So we must build the vault. What is integrity? Integrity is oneness, integrated. Same person everywhere, every time. That's why we call the alphabet characters, because A is always A. B is B at 2 a.m. in Africa, in Australia, or in Atlanta. Statues are called characters because they do not change under weather. Character is what does not change under pressure, pleasure, or privacy. Write it down. Honesty is my only policy. There is no such thing as a private life. Your secret self will always become your public headline. Tweet that. Let me give you the cascade that constructs character. Philosophy produces belief. Belief produces values. Values produce morals. Morals produce ethics. Ethics produce character. Character produces lifestyle. That is the chain. Say it with me in your mind. Philosophy to belief. Belief to values. Values to morals. Morals to ethics. Ethics to character. Character to lifestyle. You don't break this law. It breaks you if you ignore it. If your lifestyle is chaotic, trace it back. Your ethics are flexible. Why? Because your values are confused. Why? Because your beliefs are borrowed, not built. Why? Because your philosophy is not anchored in unchanging truth. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6:4. Oneness is God's nature, and He commands us to mirror it. Be holy, for I am holy. 1 Peter 1:16. Holy means whole, integrated, one. Image before dominion. God gave character before power. Genesis 1:26, image, then rule. Tweet that right now. Image before dominion is not poetry. It is policy. 3 things will visit you to verify your vault. They always come. Power, money, access to sex. They are not demons. They are diagnostics. Power asks, will you use people to serve your status? Or will you use status to serve people? Money asks, are you for sale? What is your price? Access asks, will you trade your future for a moment? Write this down. Eliminate the price tag. Take it off your soul. If you are for sale, someone will eventually pay the ticket. Are you listening to me? Set your price at not for sale. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions so you can be free from the prison of consequences. Tweet that. Radical transparency is your rule. Never do anything you do not want anyone to find out about. Simple, brutal, liberating. Matthew 5:37 says, let your yes be yes and your no, no. If your life requires elaborate hiding, your life is already lying. Decide the following today. I do not lie. I do not steal. I do not cheat. I do not leverage bodies for benefits. I do not invoice what I did not deliver. I do not promise what my protocols cannot protect. These are not slogans. These are steel bars in your vault. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Proverbs 22:1. Your name is the currency before the currency. Guard it like a crown. Let Scripture paint the contrast so you feel the stakes in your bones. Samson, Joseph, both gifted, both attracted to opportunity. One squandered access, one preserved assignment. Samson flirted with boundaries until boundaries left him. Judges 16:20 is one of the saddest lines in the Bible. He did not know that the Lord had departed from him. Strength without character becomes a circus act. He used power for pleasure, traded consecration for convenience, and ended up grinding in the enemy's mill, vision gone, vault shattered. Write that down. Gifts can open doors, your character cannot keep you in. Now Joseph, Genesis 39, handsome, promoted, trusted, tempted in private by a powerful woman who could change his comfort overnight. He had access, but he also had image character. Listen to his philosophy, his belief, his value, his ethic in one sentence. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Genesis 39:9. That is the cascade. He anchored in God, not in hormones, not in opportunity, not in loneliness. He lost his coat, but he kept his character. He went to prison, yes, but the vault stayed sealed. And what happened? Provision went hunting for him. When famine struck, Pharaoh entrusted him with the economy. Think, Egypt handed the national budget to a former prisoner. Why? Because power, money, and access had already audited his vault. Integrity made him trustworthy at scale. Write it down. When you pass the private exam, you earn public clearance. Let me come into your house for a moment. Are you for sale? Do you have a number? If someone offered to pay your mortgage to cut one ethical corner, would you do it? If a client offered double, if you adjust the figures, would you fudge? If someone whispered, no one will know, would you believe them? Who are you at 2 a.m.? When the room is dark and the proposal is due, who are you on a trip where nobody recognizes you and the hotel key card unlocks both your room and your restraint? Character is self-imposed discipline. Impose it. Decide your no before the offer arrives. Pre-decide your resistance so you don't negotiate with temptation while it is smiling. Tweet that. Here is a protocol. Because integrity is not vibes, it is visible governance. 1, publish your values somewhere you cannot escape. Wall, wallet, phone. 2, install transaction, transparency, separate accounts, dual sign-offs for company funds, receipts for every cent you handle that isn't yours. Provide things honest in the sight of all men, Romans 12:17, KJV. 3, set proximity protections. Closed-door meetings with the opposite sex require presence or glass. If it looks like compromise, it is compromise. 4, confession rhythm. A weekly honesty audit with someone who is not impressed by you. Ask and answer aloud. Where did I flirt with a boundary? Where did I rationalize? What must I repair? 5, refuse secret favors. If the only way to receive it is to hide it, decline it. Radical? Yes. But royalty lives by rules. And please hear the sober warning wrapped in hope. Unmanaged money, mutinies against mission. Trust me, I have advised leaders who lost everything in 5 seconds because their vault had a hairline crack they excused for years. 1 invoice padded just this once. 1 DM turned dinner. 1 hidden account. 1 lie to keep the peace. It never ends with 1. Sin is a multiplier. Integrity is a compounder. Galatians 6-7, do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. Sow secrecy, reap scandal. Sow integrity, reap inheritance. Now the hope. Integrity is not perfection. Integrity is integration. When you fail, confess quickly, correct fully, and restore publicly if necessary. David sinned grievously, but when confronted, he threw himself on truth. Against you, you only have I sinned, Psalm 51-4. He did not edit the report. Leaders recover faster when they repent faster. Write it down. Delay is decay. Do not protect your image at the expense of your integrity. That trade will invoice your future with interest. Tweet that to 3 friends who love you enough to tell you the truth. I am commanding you as a father today, eliminate your price tag, make a vow, and sign it with your life. I am not for sale. I do not lie. I do not steal. I do not exchange bodies for benefits. I do not invoice beyond outcomes. I do not promise what my systems cannot deliver. I repair what I break. I return what I borrow. I report what I earn. I refuse secret favors. I live loudly because I have nothing to hide. Lead with your life. The righteous are bold as a lion. Proverbs 28:1. Lions don't sneak, they stride. Why am I so relentless about this? Because provision is looking for a vault. God is searching for stewards, not stars. Luke 16:10. He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. Least first, then much. Image, then dominion. Character, then capital. When your gift is proven, your difference is clear, and your vault is sealed, heaven and the marketplace conspire in your favor. Kings do not entrust treasure to holes. They place it in vaults. Become one. When you do, resources will not just follow you, they will pursue you, because trust is the address wealth ships to. Write it down. Tweet that. Then go and build the vault that can hold what you're asking for, pre-decided, principled, and public. Your future is safe in the prison of your convictions. And that prison is the door to dominion. Now let me anchor everything we have built in the first law God ever spoke about humans. Genesis 1:26. Then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion. Stop. Notice the order. Image first. Dominion second. This is not poetry. This is policy. Write it down. You can never disagree with the principle. In Scripture, order reveals priority and precondition. God never gives power before he secures character. He never gives influence before he establishes image. Why? Because power without image becomes destruction. Dominion without likeness becomes abuse. Tweet that. What is image? Image is nature reflected character aligned with the king. Oneness with God's values, God's ethics, God's way. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6:4. Holy means whole, integrated, one. That's image. And what is dominion? Dominion is not domination. Dominion is delegated stewardship. It is responsible management on behalf of the owner. Psalm 24:1 says, the earth is the Lord's and all its fullness. You don't own anything. You manage everything. Deuteronomy 8:18 adds, it is he who gives you power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant. Wealth is not for worship, it is for work. Provision is not for pride, it is for purpose. Write it down. Dominion is not about control. Dominion is about care. Listen to me. Power does not corrupt. Power reveals corruption. Money does not change you. Money magnifies you. Opportunity does not make you faithful. Opportunity measures your faithfulness. Luke 16:10. He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. Least is the exam. Much is the degree. Everybody wants the much. Nobody wants the least. But heaven keeps the records. Heaven is conservative with trust because trust is holy. That is why some of you think you are being delayed. In truth, you are being protected. Tweet this right now. God protects you from what you are not ready to manage. Let me make it plain with pictures. A loving father does not hand a Ferrari to an 8-year-old. Not because he hates the child, but because he loves the child and he loves the highway. An airline will not let a tourist stroll into the cockpit during turbulence. Not because the tourist is wicked, but because the sky requires pilots. A bank will not wire $10 million to an account with no verification. Not because the bank is stingy, but because the money must be safe. Heaven is wiser than banks. Heaven is a better father than you. Heaven will not fund your collapse. God refuses to sponsor your funeral. Write it down. Trust precedes treasure. Jesus called this clearance. Who then is that faithful and wise steward whom his master will make ruler over his household? Luke 12:42. Faithful and wise, then ruler. Image, then dominion. Clean hands, then holy hill. Psalm 24 asks, who may ascend into the hill of the Lord? Or who may stand in his holy place? Answer, he who has clean hands and a pure heart. Clean hands are ethics. Pure heart is motive. That is image. When God sees his own reflection in your conduct and your conscience, he releases authority with confidence because he is entrusting himself to himself in you. Write that down. When heaven recognizes heaven in you, resources recognize their ruler in you. Here is a fiction that is true everywhere. A king had a treasury door with 3 locks. He told his son, when your image matches my oath, the locks will yield. The first lock tested truth. The prince returned a gold coin. A servant forgot to count. The second lock tested restraint. He refused a bribe to accelerate what time was already preparing. The third lock tested motive. He chose a community well over a private garden with the same funds. When he came to the door the next season, he didn't need to beg. The locks knew his hands. The treasury opened, not to make him famous, but to make him faithful at scale. Write it down. Systems don't secure vaults. Image secures vaults. Systems are for visibility. Image is for validity. Some of you are asking heaven for more while heaven is asking you for clean. You are designing bigger barns. God is inspecting better beams. The prayer is not, Lord, give me more. The prayer is, Lord, make me more. Make me one. Make me safe to resource. Matthew 6:33 gives the protocol. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Kingdom first. God's rulership. God's order. Righteousness. Right alignment with the king's standards. Addition follows alignment. Provision is the shadow of priority. Tweet that to somebody right now. Addition follows alignment. I must warn you as a father, if you force dominion before image, the weight will break your back. If you market what your character cannot maintain, your launch becomes your lawsuit. If you collect what your systems cannot count, your increase becomes your indictment. Write it down. Honesty is my only policy. God will embarrass a lie eventually, and he will preserve a truth immediately. Protect yourself by becoming true before you become large. Build the person before you build the platform. Cement the values before you sign the venture. So how do you build image until you are safe to resource? Simple, costly, daily. 1, codify convictions. Write 5 non-negotiables. You will not violate for any deal, any donor, any desire. Put them where you can't escape them. 2, practice micro-stewardship. Reconcile accounts to the cent. Return overpayments. Report cash. Pay who you owe before you buy what flatters you. 3, purify motive. Ask every quarter. Is this about impact or image? Is this covenant or clout? If it is clout, cut it. 4, install clearance reviews. Let someone who is not impressed by you audit your ethics and your books. Not your fan, your mirror. 5, obey slow doors. If a door opens faster than your integrity can walk, slow your feet. God is in slow doors. Wolves are in trap doors. Write it down. My prayer and my charge are the same. Become God's image on Monday, not just on Sunday. Integrate your unseen with your seen until heaven says, that one can carry what I want to release. When you are safe to resource, you will not have to hustle, you will have to handle. You will not have to chase, you will have to channel. Joseph did not apply to run Egypt's treasury. Egypt applied for Joseph. Why? Because image had already passed the audit of privacy. Provision hunts for trustworthy images. Say this aloud where you are. I choose image before dominion. I prefer clearance over applause. I will be faithful in least, so I am legal in much. I will not pressure heaven to fund what would fracture me. I will become safe to resource, and when I am, I will steward treasure as worship to the King. Write it down. Tweet it. Then live it loudly, because heaven releases resources to images that can bear them. Character is the clearance for provision. Now that you are safe to resource, let's build the banks for the river. Hear me. Value hidden is value withheld. A lamp under a basket still has light, but nobody sees it. Jesus said, nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Matthew 5:15. Write it down. Systems are lampstands. Channels are corridors. Packaging is visibility. You can never disagree with the principle. Make your value visible, accessible, and consistent, so provision has an address to visit. What is value architecture? It is the intentional design of how your gift enters the world, travels through the world, and delivers relief the same way every time. Productize your gift. Turn what you do into things people can find, understand, and receive without chasing you. Services, clearly scoped engagements with outcomes and timelines. Products, tools, templates, courses, kits that embody your method. Processes, step-by-step frameworks that make your reliability repeatable. Content signals that demonstrate your difference before money moves. Genesis 1 says everything multiplies by seed in itself. Package your method with seed inside so it can reproduce without you in the room. Tweet that. Design a value ladder. Entry, core, premium, and license. Entry free or low-cost samples that prove your promise. Checklists, clinics, micro-audits. Core, the standard engagement that solves the primary pain with a defined pathway. Premium, intensive, or enterprise versions for big problems that require depth. License, certify others to deliver your method under your standards. Write this down. Fruit with seed and orchards with standards. If your method cannot be taught, it cannot be scaled. If it cannot be scaled, provision will be capped at your calendar. Now clarify your triple P promise, price, and pathway. The promise is the outcome you protect. Stated in one sentence, a child can repeat. We reduced 9th grade reading gaps by 2 levels in 12 weeks. That's a promise. The price is the honest exchange that honors your outcomes and your ethics. Post it or post arrange with rationale. Honesty is my only policy. No bait, no switch. The pathway is the map from first contact to final relief. Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision and make it plain, that he may run who reads it. Make it so plain they can run while reading. Remove friction. No 7 clicks to book you, no mystery invoices, no foggy scopes. Use one page that answers 5 questions fast. Who is this for? What pain do you heal? What's the promise? How does it work? How do I start today? Tweet that to somebody who sells fog. Then set rhythms. Consistency is the metronome of trust. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Let all things be done decently and in order. Order is love organized. Establish publishing cadences. Monday, micro insight that names the pain. Wednesday, proof, case, testimonial, data. Friday, invitation, specific next step with a specific seat. Repeat for 52 weeks. Delivery cadences. Onboarding within 24 hours. Kickoff within 7 days. Status reports every Friday before 3 p.m. Post-engagement review within 72 hours. Response standards. Inquiry, reply within 1 business day. Resolution, ETA in the first reply. Write it down. Rhythms reduce anxiety. Anxiety reduces conversion. Rhythms increase retention. Build distribution like a wise tree. Trees do not run to customers. Trees produce where they are, signal ripeness, and let seekers locate them. Psalm 1 describes a tree planted by the rivers of water that brings forth its fruit in its season. Fruit in season rhythm. Leaf does not wither consistency, and whatever he does shall prosper distribution. Produce where you are. Show up locally with excellence. Your city, your school district, your chamber, your faith community. Signal ripeness, clear signage, updated schedules, fresh case studies, current dates. Don't be last year's fruit. Let seekers locate you. Search optimized pages that match the pain they type, a booking link that works, a phone number that is answered. Write it down. If I need a map and a miracle to pay you, I will pass. Digital channels. Build a simple website that functions like a storefront, not a scrapbook. Home promise and proof. Services, clear scopes and starting prices. Start calendar, contact, or checkout. About values and vault story that builds trust. Add 1 content channel. You will feed weekly email, podcast, or a single social platform where your buyers actually listen. Do not spray, concentrate. Local presence. Host monthly clinics. Partner with libraries or schools. Sponsor value, not vanity. Partnerships. Identify upstream allies who see the pain, before you do. Doctors for wellness coaches, principals for tutors, builders for interior designers, and design referral agreements with ethics, not kickbacks. Proverbs 27:18. Whoever keeps the fig tree will eat its fruit. Tend the relationships that tend your pipeline. Let me show you a fiction that is true on your street. Elena is a physical therapist with a gift for restoring mobility fast. Productization turned her gift into a ladder. Entry back in 30 assessments. 3 0-minute diagnostics with 3 corrective moves, $79. Applied to any core plan. Core 6, week, mobility reset, 2 sessions per week, app-guided routines, pain reduction benchmarked weekly, premium post-op accelerator, surgeon liaison, home visits, and 2 4-hour hotline for 30 days. Licensed trained 2 local trainers in a protocol for gym partnerships under her standards. Royalties paid monthly. She clarified her triple P. We get you back to pain-free movement you can measure. Prices posted with ranges and reasons. Pathway, book online, confirmed by text, intake forms, auto sent, first session scheduled within 72 hours. Rhythms, Monday tips, Wednesday wins, Friday invites, Friday reports to every client, quarterly open clinic at the community center. Distribution, website that works, a newsletter every Thursday, partnerships with 2 orthopedic surgeons, 1 CrossFit box, and the city's parks department for senior mobility. Provision found her. Surgeons called her before discharging patients because her system reduced readmissions. She did not chase, she channeled. Isaiah 60:3, Gentiles shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising. Light is clarity, brightness is consistency. Tweet that. And start frictional debts. Every quarter, walk your buyer's path with fresh eyes. How many clicks to clarity? How many forms to frustration? How many days to delivery? Eliminate delay. Luke 14:28 says, which of you, intending to build a tower, does not sit down first and count the cost? Count the cost of confusion. Confusion is expensive. A double-minded website is unstable in all its ways. James 1-8 principle applied. If your calendar link is broken, your promise is broken. If your invoices are surprises, your integrity is suspect. Write it down. Excellence is hospitality. Hospitality is holy. Here's a protocol you can implement in 7 days. 1 bill, 3 addresses. A start page for buyers, a partner page for referrers, and a press page for storytellers, each with a single CTA. 2, choose 3 cadences. Weekly content, Friday client updates, monthly open clinic. Put them on your calendar with alarms. 3, select 3 channels. 1 local, 1 digital, owned M. 1 platform borrowed, A, focused social. Feed them the same story, 4 name, 3 signals of ripeness, updated dates, current testimonials, stamped with month and year, live availability within 7 days. 5, install 3 promises you can keep. Response in 24 hours. Refund policy that is fair and clear, and a defined outcome measured in agreed metrics. Tweet this. Systems are love in sequence. A sober warning before we shout. Complexity is not sophistication, it is sabotage. If I need a consultant to understand your consulting, you have built a maze, not a pathway. Don't hide behind jargon and funnels that forget people. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. Matthew 5:37. Scope what you will not do. State what you will do. Then do it on time. Ecclesiastes 11:1 says, cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days. That's distribution. Sow consistently, and the currents of networks will return it multiplied, but only if your bread is recognizably yours. Say this with me, and write it where you see it daily. I will architect my value. I will productize my gift with seed inside. I will clarify my promise, price, and pathway. I will remove friction from first glance to final gratitude. I will build rhythms that make trust predictable. I will plant like a tree, signal like a lamp, and partner like a steward. I will not hustle. I will host. And because my value is visible, accessible, and consistent, provision has my address. When value has an address, kings know where to send camels. When value has an address, money stops running and starts reporting for duty. Write it down. Then go and build the banks that can carry the river you prayed for. Now that value has an address and your lamp is on a stand. Hear me. The economy you enter next is not dollars first. It is reputation first. Proverbs 22:1 says, a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, loving favor rather than silver and gold. Write it down. Tweet that to somebody right now. A name is a bank. Reputation is currency minted by kept promises over time. You can never disagree with the principle. Money moves toward names it can trust and runs from miles it cannot measure. Trust is the marketplace of purpose. Compounded and provision compounds with it. What is reputation? Reputation is the memory of your integrity in other people's minds. Reputation is the echo of your ethics. Reputation is what they say when you leave the room and the invoice is paid. It is not a logo. It is a ledger. And like interest, it compounds. Time is the interest rate. Integrity is the principal. Consistency is the deposit. Crisis is the audit. If you keep depositing small, honest acts over long periods, the yield will shock you. Write it down. Reliability is the referral engine. Proverbs 28:20 declares, a faithful man will abound with blessings. Abound means overflow. Not a drip, an overflow. Networks chase integrity and excellence because networks are tired of apologies. They are tired of chasing you. Become easy to trust and you will become hard to ignore. Referrals follow reliability. People are not loyal to you. They are loyal to the way you make them feel safe, seen, and served. When your words and your works reconcile, your name becomes a shortcut for decision makers. Save them time and they will send you time. And time is money. Write it down. Excellence reduces decision friction. He who walks with integrity walks securely. Proverbs 10:9. Secure walking equals secure referrals. Do your job so predictably well that your clients become your sales staff. You don't need 1 million followers. You need 100 witnesses. By the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word shall be established. 2 Corinthians 13:1. Establish your word by multiplying your witnesses. Harvest testimonies and case studies. Let another man praise you, not your own mouth. Proverbs 27:2. Collect the story, the numbers, the date. Stamp them with month and year. Before and after pictures. Benchmarks moved. Time saved. Anxiety reduced. Contracts retained. Put them where provision reads on proposals, on your start page, in your Friday updates. Build a wall called witness. When they weigh your words, give them scales. Don't say you are reliable. Prove you were. And do it consistently. Reputation is not a speech. It is a sequence, remember. Lead with your life. There is no such thing as a private life. Tweet that. Who are you at 2 a.m. when nobody's clapping? The marketplace can smell double lives. Integrity means integration, one you everywhere. The Lord our God is one, Deuteronomy 6:4. Be one. I counseled a young contractor named David in a small island city. He refused cash under the table on a government bid twice. He told them, honesty is my only policy. He lost the deal that month and gained a name the next decade. When a bridge cracked, the mayor did not Google. He called. Why? Trust compounds like interest. The whisper of his refusal multiplied faster than any brochure. He didn't chase. Phone calls chased him. Write it down. The integrity you protect in private becomes the contract you receive in public. Let me warn you. Borrowed fame is not reputation. Hiring influencers is not the same as gathering witnesses. Hype is sugar. Trust is protein. Sugar makes you jump. Protein makes you strong. Don't rent applause. Own trust. One lie can empty a vault you filled for years. Ask politicians, preachers, or parents. Every fall was a reputation withdrawal that overdrafted their life. Whoever walks blamelessly will be saved, but he who is perverse in his ways will suddenly fall. Proverbs 28:18. Sudden fall, long build. Write it down. Character is self-imposed discipline. Discipline yourself before the headlines. Discipline you. Are you for sale? For how much? Who are you with right now that you shouldn't be with? These are not random questions. These are credit checks on your name. Now, when crisis comes, and it will, because you are human, here is your protocol. 3 C's. Confess quickly. Correct fully. Continue consistently. James 5:16 says, confess your faults one to another, and 1 John 1-9 promises. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us. Don't spin, repent, don't hide, disclose. Silence breeds suspicion. Clarity breeds confidence. Then correct fully. Zacchaeus did not issue a press release. He returned what he stole and paid fourfold. Luke 19:8. Restitution is reputation repair. Fix the process that failed. Install the guardrail you should have had. Put it in writing. Then continue consistently. Daniel prayed as was his custom since early days. Daniel 6:10. Keep the rhythms you promised Friday. Updates. 2. 4-hour replies. On-time delivery. Crisis is a test of your cadence. When fear rises, reliability calms. Write it down. Consistency after confession is credibility reborn. Practical steps for compounding trust begin with a promise ledger. Track every promise made, every promise kept, every promise missed, and you'll make good. Measure your on-time index. Publish your standards and hit them publicly. Next, install a witness rhythm. Ask for a testimonial within 72 hours of a delivered outcome. Make it easy. 3 questions that elicit the pain, the process, and the proof. Dated. Permission to publish secured. 3rd, design a referral pathway that honors ethics. If we served you well, who else bears this pain? Make introduction simple, not slimy. No kickbacks that corrupt the motive. Let gratitude be the engine. 4, serve beyond invoice. Unexpected value at the edges. An extra tutorial, a maintenance check, a resource list. Excellence is hospitality. Hospitality is holy. Finally, audit your footprint. What do your digital trails say at 2 a.m.? What do your financials say at tax time? There is no such thing as a private life. Live loudly with clean hands. I will give you a fiction that tells the truth. In the port city of Moran, a baker named Amos opened at 5 a.m. every day for 20 years. His rule was simple. Bread on the shelf at 5:05, never 5:06. When storms hit the harbor and fishermen arrived a day late, Amos still had loaves ready because he watched the weather and baked the night through. He wrote names on sacks when men had no money and settled accounts when the sea was kind again. One winter, the governor's envoy came to commission rations for a month-long fleet. They could have chosen a cheaper baker. They chose Amos. Why? The city trusted his clock more than anybody's price. Reputation had matured into a government contract. Trust compounded. Provision pursued. Write it down. Predictability is prosperity's path. Scripture already told you the algorithm. Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and men. Luke 2:52. Favor is social capital earned by visible wisdom and consistent stature. Wisdom, doing it right. Stature, doing it again. Favor, others testify. Let others weigh your words. Build a name that outlives a marketing cycle. Protect your name like your life. It is your life. A good name is better than precious ointment. Ecclesiastes 7:1. Better than your perfume is your proof. Say this and write it down where your eyes cannot escape it. I will guard my name with disciplined truth. I will mint my reputation with kept promises over time. I will harvest witnesses and let others establish my word. I will lead with my life because there is no such thing as a private life. In crisis, I will confess quickly, correct fully, and continue consistently. I will not rent applause. I will own trust. Because trust is the marketplace of purpose, and as I compound trust, provision will compound with it. You can never disagree with the principle. Lead with your life. Now that your name can carry weight and your systems can carry work, hear me with both ears. You must now govern the servant called money. Money is not a vision. Money is a vehicle. Money is not a master. Money is a messenger. Jesus said, you cannot serve God and mammon, Matthew 6:24. Write it down. Money is a servant attracted by order and repelled by chaos. Tweet that. Managed money multiplies mission. Unmanaged money mutinies against it. You can never disagree with the principle. What is stewardship? Stewardship is the disciplined governance of another man's resources for his stated purpose. Luke 16:10-12 says, he who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. If you have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches? Money is the lowest test of trustworthiness. If you fail with paper, heaven withholds power. Image before dominion. Character before treasure. Power will kill you without character, and provision will drown you without governance. Write it down. Budget to purpose. A budget is not a prison. It is a pathway. A budget is simply this. Every dollar must have an assignment that advances your mission. If your dollars do not have jobs, they will find hobbies. Hobbies are expensive. Decide your purpose first. Then tell your money the schedule. Proverbs 21:5 declares, the plans of the diligent lead surely to plenty. Plans, not prayers alone. Let me give you a simple governance map. 5 M's. Mission, operations that deliver your promise. Margin, storehouses for timing and storms. Multiplication, investments in skills, assets, and R&D that increase capacity. Maintenance, taxes, obligations, and the unseen costs that preserve what you built. Mercy, generosity that aligns with your values and heals pain beyond invoices. Put percentages to each before the month begins. Then obey your own orders. Character is self-imposed discipline. Lead with your life. Storehouses and margins are not optional. They are covenant. Joseph managed a nation on a 20% storehouse rhythm during 7 years of plenty so he could feed the world in 7 years of famine. Genesis 41:34-36. The ant prepares her food in the summer and gathers her provision in the harvest. Proverbs 6:6-8. Write it down. Margin is mercy for your future self. Proverbs 21:20 says, there is desirable treasure and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man squanders it. Oil in the house, not on a selfie. Your storehouse is not faithlessness, it is faithfulness. Faith plans. Luke 14:28. Which of you, intending to build a tower, does not sit down first and count the cost of not having a cushion? One broken van, one sick week, one client delay without margin, your mission becomes a beggar. With margin, your mission becomes a lender. The borrower is servant to the lender. Proverbs 22:7. Do not sell your assignment for interest. Generosity is governance. Governance decides what money serves. Generosity decides who money serves. The generous soul will be made rich, and he who waters will also be watered himself. Proverbs 11:25. 2 Corinthians 9:6-8 promises that the sower will reap, and God is able to make all grace abound toward you, having an abundance for every good work. Notice, abundance for every good work, not every good whim. Give where God's heart meets your assignment. Give quietly, consistently, strategically. Mercy is not ego. Don't rent applause with tip coins. Establish justice with planned rivers. Tweet that to somebody rehearsing a selfie gift. Let me warn you about debt traps and appetites in disguise. Buy now, pay later is often bleed later, cry longer. Debt that does not produce or protect value is bondage with branding. If the purchase cannot either make money, or save mission, wait. Delay is not denial. Delay is dignity. Esau sold a birthright for a bowl of stew. Genesis 25:29-34. Appetite assassinated destiny. Do not exchange tomorrow's authority for today's appetite. Install a 2-4-hour rule on non-essentials. Install a 30-day rule on toys that talk. If the urgency is not mission, the urgency is marketing. Write it down. Impulse is expensive. Patience is profitable. I will give you a fiction that tells the truth. and you already know the city. Amos, the baker of Moran, didn't only watch the clock, he watched his coins. He kept 5 clay jars behind the counter, each etched with a mark: mission flour, salt, yeast, wages. Margin 1 coin from every 10 loaves sold, no touch. Multiplication, he tested new grains and a second oven plan. Maintenance, roof, repairs, taxes, licenses. Mercy, a silent loaf every dawn on a widow's step. When the storm sank boats for 3 weeks, the margin jar fed his family and kept the oven hot. When the old oven coughed smoke, maintenance paid for parts in cash. When a new farmer bought rye, multiplication funded a pilot batch that became a city favorite. When the governor's envoy ordered for a fleet, mission had already been fed by years of order. And mercy had already preached his name in places his feet had not gone. Amos did not chase. Order made money report for duty. Predictability is prosperity's path. You can never disagree with the principle. Now, practical governance you can begin this week. 1, separate your streams. Open distinct accounts for each M if you can. Or use sub-accounts and strict ledgers if you cannot. Money mingled is mission mangled. 2, assign percentages by conviction, not convenience. For example, mission, 55%, margin, 15%, multiplication, 10%, maintenance, 10%, mercy, 10%. Adjust to your reality, but write it down before the month begins. 3, automate transfers on day 1. If you wait on feelings, feelings will spend. 4, install a weekly money meeting, 15 minutes every Friday before 3 p.m. Review income. Pay the future you first. Reconcile receipts and pre-decide purchases for the next 7 days. Rhythm beats regret. 5, practice a Sabbath for spending 1 day a week with no purchases. Teach your soul, man shall not live by bread alone, Matthew 4:4. Self-control is spiritual warfare against marketing. 6, govern cash flow with calendars. Align big bills with big inflows. Do not let surprises introduce chaos to your calendar. 7, publish your generosity rule to yourself. A percentage and a purpose with accountability. 8, refuse vague ventures. If someone says quick return, reply with Proverbs. Wealth gained hastily will dwindle. Proverbs 13-11 ESV. If you cannot explain it to a teenager, you cannot steward it as an adult. 9, install purchase fences. No unfenced subscriptions. No hidden renewals. No phantom fees. Audit quarterly. 10, train your team, your spouse, your children in the law of stewardship. There is no such thing as a private life. What your statements say at tax time is your autobiography. Lead with your life. Listen to Jesus again. Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over few things. I will make you ruler over many. Matthew 25-21. Faithfulness over few things is stewardship. Rulership over many is expansion. God promotes governors. If your money has no mission, heaven has no reason to multiply it. If your storehouse has no order, heaven has no place to send rain. Malachi 3:10 speaks of the storehouse principle. Make room, then see if he will not open the windows of heaven. Make room by governance. Windows open where rooms exist. Sober warning before we shout. Unmanaged money mutinies. If you do not assign it, it elects itself treasurer and votes against your destiny. If you do not command it, it will command you work longer, pray less, panic more. That is slavery in a suit. Break that with principle. Write it down. Money you do not manage will manage you. Say this with me and write it where your eyes can't avoid it. I will command the servant called money. I will budget to purpose and assign every dollar a job. I will build storehouses and keep margins as covenant. I will practice generosity as governance, not ego. I will avoid debt traps and tame appetites. Delay is not denial. I will separate my streams, automate my honor, and review with rhythm. Honesty is my only policy. Character is self-imposed discipline. I will lead with my life. And because managed money multiplies mission, provision will not control me. It will serve me, strengthen my assignment, and report for duty on time. You can never disagree with the principle. Pruning time. Hear me. After you build systems and command the servant called money, the next assassins do not come with knives. They come with calendars, cameras, and compliments. Hurry, hype, and hungry friends. Write it down. Protect the pipeline by pruning anything that can buy or bend your standards. You can never disagree with the principle. Hurry is the counterfeit of purpose. Purpose walks, panic runs. Ecclesiastes 3:1 declares, to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Purpose requires time. Counterfeits require urgency. Proverbs 19:2 warns, it is not good to have zeal without knowledge, nor to be hasty and miss the way. Haste misses the way. Tweet that. Mastery is patient. Repetition. Scars turn into systems. Consistency turn into credibility. If the devil cannot make you dirty, he will make you fast. He will crowd your calendar so your character has no room to breathe. Write it down. Speed without sequence is sabotage. Are you running or are you repeating? Mastery is measured by rhythm, not rush. Daniel prayed 3 times a day, as was his custom since early days. Daniel 6:10. Custom, not crisis. Created his excellence. Install customs that kill hurry. Sabbath a day, silence a morning, study an hour. We do not grow in adrenaline, we grow in order. Hype is the brother of hurry. Hype chases applause. Purpose chases impact. Vanity metrics are mirrors for insecure souls. Followers without fruit. Likes without lives change. Impressions without transformations. Let another man praise you and not your own mouth. Proverbs 27:2. Jesus was tempted with hype. The enemy said, throw yourself down, Matthew 4:6. Jump for the crowd. Make angels your PR team. Jesus refused. Why? Image before dominion. Character before platform. Do not jump off temples for attention. Write it down. If you need a stage to feel valuable, you will sell your values to keep the stage. Hype is sugar. Impact is protein. Sugar spikes, protein sustains. Choose sustenance over spectacle. Ask every post, every pitch, every product, does this change your life or just charge the algorithm? Then there are the hungry friends and predatory partners. Not all hunger is evil, but some is envious, manipulative, and parasitic. A man who flatters his neighbor spreads a net for his feet, Proverbs 29:5. Nets are complements with contracts. Some people do not want your wisdom, they want your well. They want your platform, your passwords, your purity on discount. They are not clients. They are creditors looking to collect your conscience. Write it down. Never accept a check that requires you to lower a standard. Are you for sale? For how much? Who are you with right now that you shouldn't be with? These are pruning questions. There's no such thing as a private life. The wrong lunch can cost you a decade. Pruning is biblical and beautiful. Every branch that bears fruit, he prunes that it may bear more fruit. John 15:2. More fruit requires fewer leaves. Pruning is not punishment. Pruning is permission for more. Remove inputs that weaken integrity. That might include some friends. Psalm 1 opens with a pruning list. Do not walk in the counsel of the ungodly. Do not stand in the path of sinners. Do not sit in the seat of the scornful. Notice the progression. Walk, stand, sit. How close have you come? Write it down. Proximity is permission. If gossip is the soundtrack of your circle, corruption is the theme. If you must dim your light to keep a table, that table is too expensive. He who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. Proverbs 13:20. Choose your company like you choose your vitamins daily and with labels. Here is your pruning protocol. 4 gates, values, standards, assignment, and timing. VSAT. Filter everything through this. 1. Values. Does this align with what you say you believe when no one is clapping? If it violates value, it is a no immediately. 2. Standards. Does this opportunity require you to lower your bar of excellence, honesty, or purity? If your standards must bend, your future will break. 3. Assignment. Does this advance the specific pain you are called to heal? If it distracts from the problem you exist to solve, it is expensive even if it pays. 4. Timing. Even a good thing in the wrong season becomes a bad thing. The blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Proverbs 10:22. Sorrow is often the speed tax paid for skipping seasons. Write it down. No is a holy word. Holiness means oneness, integrity. Say no to protect your yes. Now, practical pruning you begin today. Audit your digital diet. Unfollow accounts that provoke covetousness, cynicism, or lust. If it tempts your standard, it taxes your future. Remove apps that monetize your impulse. Turn off notifications that baptize you in false emergencies. Silence is not empty. Silence is strategy. Next, calendar pruning. If it is not on mission, it does not get a minute. Pre-assign your best hours to your highest value work. Put meetings in the margins, not in the morning. Morning is for mastery. Third, relational pruning. Write a list. Circle givers. Square drainers. You are called to love all, but you are not required to lunch with all. Some must be moved from inner circle to outer court. Jesus had multitudes, 70, 12, 3, and 1. Structure your access. Access is a stewardship. Fourth, financial pruning. Do not finance flattery. If a partnership needs secrecy, it is seduction in a suit. Requires sunlight clauses, no backroom deals, no vague ventures, no handshake promises without paper. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. Romans 12:17 KJV. Fifth, hype pruning. Set a weekly metric that measures impact. Not applause, problem solved, hours saved, errors reduced, souls helped. Publish those to yourself. Let applause be a byproduct, not a budget line. Let me give you a fiction that tells the truth. In Maron, when Amos's rye loaf rose, a merchant named Karis came with a glittering offer, an exclusive contract, a front page feature, and a ribbon cutting with musicians if Amos would double output by slashing proof time and add a sweet glaze to make photos shine. Amos checked VSAT. Values, lying lows, look good but digest poorly. Standards, less proof means less integrity of crumb. Assignment, feed the harbor with honest bread that holds in storms. Timing his second oven was not yet installed. He said no with a smile. Karis took his circus elsewhere. 3 months later, the circus bread molded on day 2, and the governor's envoy still ate Amos's loaves on day 10 at sea. Write it down. What you prune today protects what will feed nations tomorrow. Galatians 6-9 encourages, let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. Due season comes to those who refuse counterfeit seasons. Be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. 1 Corinthians 15:58. Pruning makes you immovable, less to sway, less to break. Character is self-imposed discipline. Lead with your life. Say this with me and write it down. I will slow my soul. Hurry will not hijack my purpose. I will reject hype and measure impact, not applause. I will set gates on relationships and agreements, values, standards, assignment, timing. I will remove inputs that weaken integrity, even if they smile and call me friend. I will prune now so I can bear more later. I am not for sale. Honesty is my only policy. There is no such thing as a private life. I will protect the pipeline by pruning anything that can buy or bend my standards. And by principle, provision will keep finding me fit to trust. You can never disagree with the principle. Now we act. 30 days. Not someday. Not when you feel like it. Write it down. Destiny respects discipline, not desire. You do not drift into purpose. You deploy into purpose. Seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Matthew 6:33. Added to you, pursuing you, not being chased by you. Tweet that to 3 people. Your fear keeps babysitting. Day 1 begins with vows. Vows are fences that keep lions out and sheep in. Character is self-imposed discipline. Say this aloud every morning for 30 days before any screen speaks. Honesty is my only policy. I will not exaggerate, manipulate, or decorate the truth to earn trust. I make a covenant with my eyes. Purity guards power. Job 31:1. 2 Timothy 2:22. I will choose diligence over distraction. The hand of the diligent will rule. Proverbs 12:24. I am not for sale. There is no such thing as a private life. My gift will serve. My systems will protect. My standards will not bend. Image before dominion. Then at night, conduct an audit with the same sentence stems. Was my honesty unbroken? Did I protect my eyes, my ears, my hands? Did I exchange focus for noise? If you fail, write it, confess it, correct it tomorrow. You can never disagree with the principle. Now to the weekly engine that will make provision, find your address, mastery blocks. Mastery is repetition on purpose, not practice alone, but evaluated practice on one measurable output. For 30 days, Monday through Friday, complete 2 focus sessions daily, 10 per week, 40 in 4 weeks. Each session is 50 minutes with a single target outcome. You will pick one output that your gift produces one. If you are a designer, choose speed to first draft while maintaining a quality score. If you are a baker like Amos of Marin, choose crust consistency measured by weight retention after day 2. If you are a consultant, choose average time to clarity for client problem statements. Establish a baseline on day 1. Log every session. Change one variable at a time. Improvement is trust you can demonstrate. Proverbs 22:29 says, do you see a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. Kings find diligent people because diligence emits a signal. Your 10 mastery blocks are your weekly beacon. Track your service with a scoreboard that heaven and earth can read. Write this on paper, not just in your head. Every day you will record 3 numbers before bed. People served, pain solved, referrals earned. People served means a real human received a real touch product delivered, call completed, question answered, loaf baked, bug fixed. Pain solved are measurable, error removed, hours saved, cost reduced, anxiety relieved. Referrals earned are names given to you because of trust, not because you begged for them. Luke 16:10, faithful in little means count the little. What you count, you compound. Publish the weekly totals to yourself every Sunday afternoon, not Instagram your soul. Let another praise you, Proverbs 27:2. You praise your discipline by measuring it. Tweet that. Every week, you will also publish and package one value signal. Value hidden is value denied. Write the vision and make it plain, that he may run who reads it. Habakkuk 2:2. One artifact every week. An article that teaches your process. A 5-minute demo that shows your method. Or a case study that quantifies a client win. The goal is not applause. The goal is addressability. Provision needs a doorbell. Package your service with 3 visible elements by day 7. A clear promise, the pain you heal. A path, how to start with you. And proof, testimonials, metrics, or demos. Keep it clean. Keep it honest. Your difference must be visible, but your integrity must be inviolable. Now the money map for the next 30 days. Every inflow, no matter how small, is immediately assigned to 4 rivers by percentage. You pre-decide on day 1. Mission, margin, mastery, mercy. Mission funds operations that deliver your promised materials. Platforms, wages. Margin is your storehouse, emergency cushion, and seasonality buffer. Mastery is reinvestment in skill courses, coaching, tools that demonstrably raise your output. Mercy is generosity that aligns with your assignment, quiet, consistent, strategic. Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives you power to get wealth to establish his covenant. Wealth flows where covenant governance exists. Decide your percentages. Automate on receipt. Review every Friday. Money unmanaged mutinies. Money mapped militates for your mission. Let me put flesh on this with a fiction that tells the truth you can live. In the harbor city of Meron, Amos looked at his wall on the first day of the month and drew a grid. Row 1, mastery blocks. Row 2, service scoreboard. Row 3, value signals. Row 4, money map. For mastery, he chose oven to cooling time as his variable. Baseline, 36 minutes average to the rack with predictable crumb. Goal, 31 minutes without sacrificing integrity. Session by session, he shaved seconds by adjusting proof temperature, rotating trays and timing, need cycles, 1 change at a time, logged in ink, service scoreboard. Day 3 read, Served 41 solved 82 sailors with salt rash got low sodium lows. 5 ships got longer lasting crumb. 1 allergy child got a new formula. Referrals earned 3A. Captain told 2 captains. A widow told the dockmaster. His weekly value signal was a 1-page leaflet titled, Bread That Survives a 7th Day. How we proof for storms, given freely to any shipwright. Packaging. The leaflet ended with a simple line. If your voyage is 7 to 10 days, ask for the anchor loaf order by bell or by boy. Money map. From every coin, Amos dropped clay tokens. Mission, 55%. Margin, 15%. Mastery, 10%. Mercy, 20%. That week, because a fire had touched a neighbor's shack. At month's end, the envoy returned without parade or press, but with a larger order and a storage contract. Amos did not chase. He deployed. Provision found his address because principle makes your signal visible. Here is your 4-week cadence in plain steps. Week 1, choose the pain you heal and define your promise in 1 sentence a teenager can understand. Build a simple intake path, a calendar link, an order form, or a defined first step with turnaround times. Publish your first value signal by day 7. Close the week with your money map review and a vow renewal. Week 2, deliver 4 to 5 microservices for fast cycles, small engagements that let you collect testimonials and data. Ask for referrals by serving with excellence. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due when it is in the power of your hand to do so. Proverbs 3:27. Improve the measurable output in your mastery blocks by at least 10% from baseline. Publish a demo that shows the before and after. Week 3, differentiate with courage and codify your standards. Draft a 1-page integrity policy that includes your refusal list, what you will not do, even if you are paid. Tweet this to your future self. A refusal list multiplies respect. Publish a case study with real numbers. Raise a price point if value is proven. Never inflate, demonstrate. Week 4, scale your system humbly. Install onboarding scripts. Set boundaries on calendar access. And pre-qualify inquiries with 3 questions tied to your assignment. Audit your money map. Increase margin by 2% if possible. On day 28, do a pruning audit of your masters. Speed, applause, appetite. On day 30, review the month's scoreboard totals, mastery gains, value signals shipped, money map fidelity, and then set targets for the next 30. Sober warning amid the shout. Your vows are not poetry. They are prison bars for your freedom. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions. Tweet that. The 3 tests will come: power, money, and access. When influence knocks, remember image before dominion. When money surges, remember stewardship before status. When access whispers, remember Joseph fled while Samson lingered. Flee youthful lust. Pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace. 2 Timothy 2:22. Never do anything you don't want anyone to find out about. There is no such thing as a private life. Lead with your life. End of day. The kingdom way is not complicated. It is costly. Not costly in cash, costly in consistency. Say the vows, work the blocks, count the service, ship the value, map the money, prune the noise, repeat. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with your might. Ecclesiastes 9:10. And whatever you do, do it heartily, as to the Lord. Colossians 3:23. You do the cause. Heaven guarantees the effect. Purpose commands provision. Write this final line in large letters where you pray. I will deploy my gift with mastery, difference, and integrity for 30 straight days. I will measure, I will publish, I will govern, I will prune. By immutable law, provision will not just follow me, it will pursue me, overtake me, and serve my assignment. You can never disagree with the principle.